The clock is ticking down to the final cutdown deadline, and the Chicago Bears front office is about to make decisions that will send shockwaves through the entire fan base. Big names are officially on the chopping block, high-stakes position battles are reaching a boiling point, and the final 53-man depth chart is going to look radically different than anyone expected. If you live and breathe Chicago football and want every single breakdown as this roster takes shape, smash that like button, subscribe, and share this video right now. Let us kick things off under center because the quarterback room gives us our clearest look at how this depth chart will shake out. Caleb Williams is the undisputed franchise cornerstone taking the reins of this entire organization. Behind him, Tyson Bagent has firmly cemented his status as the primary backup. Even though Bagent has been dealing with some bumps and bruises lately, it is nowhere near severe enough to land him on short-term injured reserve or the physically unable to perform list. Rounding out the active trio is veteran Case Keenum, who provides that steady, experienced presence in the quarterback room to mentor the young signal callers. That means Caleb Williams, Tyson Bagent, and Case Keenum are locks to make the final 53. However, the harsh reality of cutdown day hits hard at the bottom of the depth chart with Miller Moss. Moss is staring right down the barrel of getting released. Can Miller Moss truly put enough quality tape together over this final week to prove he belongs on the practice squad? When you turn on the tape from the first 2 preseason games, the production simply has not been there to demand a spot. Unless he pulls off an absolute masterpiece in the preseason finale, his time in Chicago might be over before it truly began. That brings us directly into the most contentious, heated debate on the entire offensive side of the football, the running back battle. DeAndre Swift is the dynamic lead back, and Kyle Monangai has made a tremendous impression to secure his role. But the third running back spot has turned into a high-stakes standoff between Salvon Ahmed and Roscoe Johnson. ESPN's latest 53-man roster projection has Salvon Ahmed making the team over Roscoe Johnson, which has sparked massive debates across the fan community. When you evaluate these two backs side by side, they present entirely different identities. Are you genuinely prepared to watch this front office walk away from Roscoe Johnson's bruising, downhill style between the tackles? Roscoe gives you that violent, physical presence that wears down defensive fronts and grinds out dirty yardage in short yardage and goal line situations. He is clearly the superior pass protector, which is crucial when your primary objective is keeping Caleb Williams upright, and he brings a wealth of special teams experience. But the elephant in the room has always been his durability and recurring injury history. On the other hand, Salvon Ahmed brings blistering straight-line speed, perimeter agility, and dynamic juice as a pass catcher out of the backfield. We have seen that explosive home run capability flash during preseason action. The downside is that Ahmed struggles in pass protection, having given up a rough rep where he got completely bowled over in Saturday's contest. While Ahmed made an impressive play as a gunner on special teams coverage, his overall third-phase resume is much lighter than Roscoe's. Do not be shocked if the front office explores an outside solution here. Chicago might keep one of these two initially, only to scour the waiver wire or pursue a low-cost trade once other teams trim down their rosters. Look across the league at someone like Tyrone Tracy of the New York Giants. Tracy is a versatile, electric weapon who could find himself in a roster crunch in New York. If the Bears could acquire him for a late-round draft pick swap, head coach Ben Johnson would have an absolute blast designing creative touches and perimeter mismatches for an athlete with Tracy's specific skill set. Moving out to wide receiver, the battle for the final spot is pure chaos. The top 5 spots are locked in with Rome Odunze, Luther Burden III, Khalif Raymond, Xavion Thomas, and Jody Walker. That leaves an all-out brawl for the 6th and final wide receiver position. Caden Davis currently holds the projection edge. Davis had a quiet box score on Saturday, but the film showed him creating separation and getting open consistently. If the ball had come his way, his stat line would have looked drastically different. Because Caden Davis is projected to snag that 6th spot, an entire group of capable wide receivers gets left out. That includes veteran speedster Scotty Miller, Maurice Alexander, who delivered an eye-opening performance on Saturday, J.P. Richardson, and Ray McLeod III. McLeod did not see the field on Saturday, raising questions about whether he faced internal discipline following an incident in joint practices where punches were thrown. Every single one of these receivers has shown legitimate flashes throughout training camp, and Chicago will almost certainly look to retain at least 2 of them on the practice squad. At tight end, the primary rotation is locked down with Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, and Sam Roush. But the most intriguing name to track on the bubble is undrafted rookie Hayden Large out of Iowa. Large is a versatile hybrid who can align as an inline tight end, a fullback, or an H-back. He put multiple dominant, bone-crushing blocks on film on Saturday. While the numbers game makes it tough for Large to make the active 53 out of camp, he is the ultimate practice squad stash. With the NFL rule allowing up to 3 game day elevations from the practice squad, Chicago could activate Large for specific physical matchups without burning a permanent roster spot. Along the offensive line, the projection carries 10 linemen: Braxton Jones, Joe Thuney, Garrett Bradbury, Jonah Jackson, Darnell Wright, Ozzie Trapilo, Theo Benedict, Logan Jones, Luke Newman, and Jordan McFadden. Ozzie Trapilo is nursing an issue and could potentially start the year on short-term injured reserve if the coaching staff feels he is not fully game-ready. The major talking point here is the caliber of players getting cut. Under this projection, former third-round pick Kieran Amagaji and veteran tackle Jedrick Wills Jr. get shown the door. Undrafted rookie Caden Barnett, who received significant guaranteed money upon signing, is another notable cut destined for the practice squad. The lingering question remains at left tackle: is Braxton Jones locked in as the starter? Can Theo Benedict push for immediate playing time? Or does Chicago ultimately decide they cannot afford to part ways with experienced depth like Wills or Amagaji? Now for our official question of the day, and we want to hear from every single one of you down in the comments. Which bubble player from this projection would you refuse to cut? Is it Roscoe Johnson, Terrell Smith, or someone else? Drop your breakdown below. Switching over to the defensive trenches, the projection keeps 10 defensive linemen: Montez Sweat, Grady Jarrett, Jervin Dexter Sr., Austin Booker, Deo Odiengbo, Daniel Hardy, Neville Gallimore, Kentavious Street, Jordan Van Den Berg, and Marcus Davenport. Marcus Davenport is the biggest wildcard here. He has missed substantial practice time, which means the staff could slow play his return, stash him, or release and immediately re-sign him to the practice squad without serious risk of losing him on waivers. That squeeze leaves James Lynch and Jamri Chroma on the outside looking in. Chroma blew up the stat sheet in the preseason opener but faded in Game 2, leaving his fate hanging on the final week. Meanwhile, James Lynch is a seasoned veteran who was stuck playing deep into fourth-quarter garbage time on Saturday, showing he currently sits firmly behind players like Kentavious Street. Regarding rookie defensive lineman Shamar Turner, do not expect him on the initial active roster. Turner has missed all of training camp recovering from an ACL tear. Chicago will likely place Turner on the physically unable to perform list or designate him for short-term injured reserve with an option to return. League insiders indicate an October return timeline is most realistic, meaning we likely will not see Turner suit up until somewhere between weeks 5 and 8. At linebacker, the Bears are projected to carry 5: Devin Bush, TJ Edwards, DeMarco Jackson, Jack Sanborn, and Ruben Hippolyte II. Both Keyshawn Elliott and Noah Sewell are currently sidelined on the PUP list, which opened the door for Hippolyte to claim that 5th linebacker job. Ruben Hippolyte has bounced back with an impressive camp after a quiet rookie year, showcasing the sideline-to-sideline pursuit and special teams dependability required to hold down a backup role. The secondary features some of the toughest roster decisions on the entire team. At cornerback, the projected group includes Jalen Johnson, Tariq Stevenson, Malik Muhammad II, Josh Blackwell, Jalen Jones, and Dante Manning. Kyler Gordon is projected to open on the PUP list, while Beanie Bishop serves a 3-week league suspension. Those designations allow the front office to protect roster spots for the opening month. Unfortunately, this scenario leaves Terrell Smith as the odd man out. When healthy, Terrell Smith has shown top-tier coverage traits on the outside. However, persistent injuries and questions regarding his seamless fit in the defensive scheme have held him back. Meanwhile, Dante Manning had a turbulent showing on Saturday, making great defensive plays but also getting torched for 2 touchdowns. If Terrell Smith cannot prove his health immediately, Manning's speed and special teams utility give him the razor-thin edge. At safety, Dylan Thieneman, Xavier Woods, and Cam Lewis lead the room, with Skylar Thomas battling hard for the 4th spot. Kobe Bryant is slated for the PUP list or short-term injured reserve, and Elijah Hicks remains sidelined on PP. If Elijah Hicks cannot get medically cleared before final cutdowns, Skylar Thomas, who snagged a clutch interception on Saturday, will lock down that final safety position. Finally, on special teams, Kairos Santos and Torrey Taylor are joined by long snapper Bo Gardner. But make no mistake, Bo Gardner is on thin ice. In Game 1, an errant snap forced Taylor into an awkward catch that threw off Santos's timing on a missed field goal. In Game 2, Gardner sailed a punt snap high over the head of the 6'4" Torrey Taylor, forcing an athletic jump to save the play. Special teams coordinator Richard Hightower cannot tolerate erratic snapping, and if Gardner does not deliver a clean performance in the preseason finale, Chicago will definitely scour the waiver wire for an experienced replacement. Every single drill, rep, and snap over these next few days carries massive consequences for the future of this football team. Keep the conversation going in the comments, stay tuned for every breaking roster move, and bear down,